Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Well, it's been an interesting week. I went to down there to Cincinnati. Didn't get a chance to go where I wanted to go, but I gotta say it anyway. Anyway, not for my story. Um, I gotta tell you, I don't know what's wrong with today's women. I really don't understand some of these women out here today. They get the best of the best of black men, particularly some black women, and it seems like they don't appreciate it. That they have somebody nice.
What's happening? Look at this lineup. Mount Rushmore of Keishas. Mount Ungrateful. Let's go through it. First, let's start with this lemonhead Keisha right here. Keisha Curry.
More compassion and more understanding. Something that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And
Now, when we saw at this trash table, when we saw with the likes of Baldy Pinkett, we knew it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. She's going to go on her husband's not enough tour. We saw that. Now, what these Keishas are always talking about, well, she need an identity outside herself, her career, she could have made something of herself, she could have did something else other than be a mom, other than be a wife, she could have been a businesswoman. Hey, Keisha, I know you listening. It's the reason why you stay at the bottom. It's the reason why we call you short bus. She's already an entrepreneur. She's a very successful entrepreneur, actually. She's worth 50 million. Tell me without Steph Curry, you're going to sit there and say she would have did better than that? Not to mention, she's with a good dude from what we see. She has healthy children from this guy. He's not out there cheating on her. He's always bigging up his wife. Explain to us how that makes sense. Explain to us how that makes sense. But that's why, her mother, her mother was egging on. Her mother egged it on. Jada Pinkett mother's egged this. The whole generation of Keishas just egged this on. Even Steph Curry's mother did his father dirty. These generational Keishas, they come through and egg on the next generation to be 304s and to dislike their husbands, even though their husbands is the reason why they're in the positions that they're in now. This is sickening. This is sickening. And speaking of Baldy Pinkett, let's get to her. Let's get to Jada Chrome Dome Pinkett right here. Let's get to her right here.
Good morning. What can I get you?
you know what I want? A job.
Oh, the names he could call people. Oh my goodness. Let me, before you,
Put it near radioactive material. It goes. And my thing is, it's like I'd have to scan you before I start hanging out with you because
I don't know. It's like I might kiss you and it might be like cesium on your lips, and I don't like the idea of getting cancer and shit. I really don't like that idea. So, you know, before they even import them women here, because I know a lot of them are coming here as refugees and everything, I would run them through the Geiger counter and check them. You know, just make sure that, you know, there's no cesium or polonium or anything like that. No radioactive minerals, you know, laying around. You know, like Neptunium. You know, make sure none of that shit is lying around. So anyway, there are accusations that this movement is anti-feminist. Of course it is! That's not an accusation. We're fucking telling you it is. Of course it's anti-feminist. Of course it is. That's not an accusation. That's not an allegation. Yes, it is. Why would American men be going to the poorest possible countries in the world and war-torn villages to find wives if they didn't have an anti-feminist agenda? Come on, really? That shouldn't even be a question. Obviously they're anti-feminist. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, come on. Western men want women who don't have dreams of their own. That's not true. That's not true. Western men want women who help them build. That's what it comes down to. Women do not build anything. I passed by a construction site and I videotaped it. The women are there. They got BBLs on a fucking construction site. The men are standing around jackhammering, digging up the ground, cutting up the roads, putting wires in, moving pipes, doing difficult, dangerous, dirty jobs. Meanwhile, the only woman there is standing there. She's got a BBL. That's a Brazilian butt lift. She's got a Brazilian butt lift. She's standing around holding a sign telling the cars that they should slow down. I swear, I got it on tape. Every single time I pass by one of these construction sites, it's the same shit. I've never ever seen a woman with a jackhammer. I've never ever seen a woman with like dynamite trying to blow stuff, like blow holes in the concrete or anything. I've never seen any of that. I see men do it. I see men wiring shit up to blow it up. I see men with jackhammers and laying big pipes and cement mixes and shit. I've never seen a woman doing any of that. Then they complain that the men make more money. Well, maybe I make more money because I'm the one doing the hard work. That might have something to do with it. I'm not just standing here with a Brazilian butt lift and directing traffic. Hello? Where am I? Western men want women who help them build families, just like this poor soul who made the mistake of going over there to Kenya. They want women to help them build families. Women don't build anything. They can't build anything. What is this? Who follow their lead, of course. The men are supposed to be the leaders of the family. That's the gender role. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who are trying to confuse the gender roles and a lot of people who are trying to change them because they're not happy with them. Bottom line is, men are always going to revert to the gender role. That's their job. That is their reason for being. They're not going to accept this bullshit where you're trying to degenderize and regenderize them into something else. They're not going to accept it. And the more you push them, the more you're going to see them turn on you. And when they turn on you, most of the time it will be violent. It will be violent. What is that movie? There will be blood. They're not going to go for it. In fact, at this point, I'd say it's obvious they're not going for it anymore. You had your fun, talking down to men and talking down to boys. At this point, they're ready to turn on you. And now when I say they're ready to turn on you, this generation ain't tolerating you one bit. And when they turn on you, I'm going to be sitting right there in front of my 70-inch television with my popcorn and my peanuts, and I'm gonna have my feet up watching you get yours, because they're not playing with you anymore. I think the recent news report, oh, why are these young men so violent? Why are they reaching for weapons? And why are they domestic terrorizing us? They're not tolerating it anymore. They've reached a point where they've decided that it's war. That's where you are. So if you want to keep messing with them, you go right on ahead. But when they turn on you and they bring that violence to you, I'm gonna be sitting right on my couch watching it. And I'm gonna have my nice cheddar popcorn. I'm gonna have some butter and popcorn. Be sitting there with my 3D glasses on, and I'm gonna be watching you get yours, because you were warned and you're still screwing with them, and they're not playing with you. They're not playing with you. Oh, why are these young men? The propensity of violence. Yeah, you're gonna get yours, and they're not playing no more. They're not. This is war. That's what this is. This is not a friendly conversation. Because there's some people out here that are so stupid that they think that they can just sit out in the middle of a crowd and challenge people to arguments. They seriously think somebody's trying to argue with them. That's what they think. They seriously think somebody's playing games with them. They seriously think that somebody feels like standing out having a debate. This is not a debate. This is not a friendly argument. This is not a friendly conversation. This is war. That's what you're up against. So you can heed my warning or not. Makes no difference to me. I've got plenty of popcorn. So anyway, where is this? And who aren't as independent as their own women. Oh, the lady independent. Throw your hands up in the air. Oh, the lady independent. Throw your hands up in the air. Y'all let Beyonce, a woman who's got a husband, Jay-Z, a rich husband, y'all let Beyonce convince you that you're better being independent. Y'all let Tyler Perry, a cross-dresser. Now, and don't get me wrong, I like Tyler Perry because he has like one of my favorite hobbies, RC airplanes, and he's pretty good at it. But the bottom line is, y'all let Tyler Perry convince y'all that, I can do bad all by myself? Well, okay, fine. You let them convince you. You let two people convince you that you didn't need no man and you were better off independent and all that, and all you had to do was just get highly educated. You'd be better than how's that working out for you? That fabulous at 40 bullshit is hilarious to me. You're crossing 40, the eggs are gone, empty, and they're gone, and there's no more eggs in the gumball machine. And then you wake up and realize, maybe feminism wasn't such a good idea. I'm single, childless, and unmarried. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Every time a man tried to tell you that you're doing something wrong, you ignored him. Every time a man tried to tell you you shouldn't dress like that, stop slut-shaming me. That's what you said. You refused to take the leadership. Now you're gonna take the ass whipping from life itself. Okay? I'm done with the editing and the self-censorship. I'm telling you like it is.
A Chewy pharmacy order is on the way for Cuda. The good boy whose dislike of taking meds is matched only by his love of cheese. So Mom pairs the meds Chewy delivers with the finest.
Let's get to her. Then we gonna get to these other Keishas right here, but she's next. Jada Pinkett is a Pookeisha. Look, the question is, was Jada Pinkett ever on drugs? Yes, Jada Pinkett Smith has spoken publicly and candidly about her past struggles with drug and alcohol abuse. In episodes of her talk show, Red Table Talk, she discussed her past addiction to drugs such as ecstasy alongside alcohol and marijuana. Key points about her history with drugs. A weekend party girl. You know what that means. Tizzy tore to the sun burn up. She described herself as a binger using ecstasy, alcohol, and weed on weekends from Thursday to Monday. The Nutty Professor incident. In 1996, during filming of the movie The Nutty Professor, Pinkett Smith passed out in her makeup trailer after taking what she described as a bad batch of ecstasy. This served as a rock bottom moment that prompted her to get sober. Look, her mother openly discussed her own past heroin addiction. So your mother was a fiend too. So the family's history with addiction was part of their public conversation. So use of psychedelics. More recently, Pinkett Smith and her family have spoken about the use of psychedelic plant medicines to deal with depression and address emotional issues. Also, drug dealing as a teenager. In her 2023 memoir, Worthy, Pinkett Smith revealed that she sold drugs as a teenager in Baltimore in the 1980s as a means of survival. Hold on. I think we have a clip of that. Let's listen to this.
Since I played that clip, can we talk about that moment that you had to sell crack?
She's a Pookeisha, man. She was DMX before DMX. This is Ray Ritz. Will Smith is with Ray Ritzel from the Blizzle. This is crazy.
And even though I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, now you have to remember, I wasn't the only one at Baltimore School for the Arts who was hustling.
Oh no, yeah, people hustle in high school.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But was Pac hustling?
Not at that time.
Not at that time.
No, because Pac wasn't from Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, he didn't get into that.
What level? Were you a boss, or I feel like?
Oh no.
I'm like
a 14. So here she is, right? First of all, let's get this straight. She's not no star. She is not no star. And all those movies she was in, Nutty Professor was probably her, highest grossing movie, and it wasn't because of her, it was because of Eddie Murphy. All those other films she did, was basically hood classics. Menace to Society, Jason's Lyric, these are all hood classics, right? She was not no, bankable star at all. At best, she was a C-lister. I would say D-lister, but at best, she was a C-lister. She was not bringing in seats to the theaters at all. We knew only certain people knew who she was, and that usually was black people. That was it. It wasn't really, Brad, Becky, was it Hector, Maria? You're a star when everybody know you. All the demographics know you, right? And not even all the black people knew who she was. It wasn't like she wasn't a star. She's never been a star. When she was on her way out, if she fizzled out. There was no roles coming in for her. She fizzled out big time. So when Will Smith came along, she was an addict, and he saved her. He got her clean. He fixed her up, got her clean, married her, made her into a respectable woman. Her name stayed alive in the public because of him. Now he's the A-lister. He's the man showing, showing some sort of, loyalty, she started getting online talking about how much she missed Pac. Started talking about her drug addiction. Why? Like, why? Why you want to put your business out there? Yeah, I sold drugs. And then the incident with Chris Rock.
Bye, sweetheart.
Wow. I'm just, I don't understand some of these women. I just really don't understand them. This is crazy. Let's go to this one.
So it has come to my attention that black Scottish people are blowing up on American TikTok. So I just wanted to come in here as a Scottish girlie and say hi, guys. And yes, we do exist.
What up, this is Soda Traveler for RD. I am back again with another video review. So let's go ahead and check out these videos. This video is going to be on why black men should start traveling. There is so many evidence out there that should tell black men to just leave the West, because what's here in the West isn't worth it. So brothers need to start expanding their options and looking at other options in other countries. So I think that's well worth it for brothers to start doing that. So let's go ahead and jump into these videos. But before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell while you are here. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I get that. And I shouldn't feel bad for one.
I'm convinced some women just want the wedding day and not a marriage.
Married? Yeah. You were married?
I was married. I was a married woman.
What? How long were y'all married?
Not long. Probably 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Such a great guy, amazing guy. But we just didn't want the same things in life.
Okay.
He was okay with just love and, going to church and having a family, going to work and raising kids. And I was like, I want more.
You mean to tell me you want more and he provided a stable lifestyle, so you like running the streets, having craziness going around, having your life like basically in turmoil? Come on, man, this is what is out here in the States. Seeing stuff like this is it's discouraging. This is why I gotta tell brothers, you gotta leave. This right here, what these women are thinking, I don't even know what to say what it is, because it's just wrong.
Yeah, I get that.
And I shouldn't feel bad for wanting more.
Did you feel like you knew y'all weren't on the same page before you walked down the aisle? So why'd you do it? What was the
That's
reason?
a lot of pressure.
Okay.
When a man proposes to a woman, that's a lot. And in front of people,
I don't want to let my community down. They thought this was beautiful.
people are like, I gotta say yes. After that situation, I'm gonna tell you what you don't want to hear, because someone should have told me. And I'm not gonna put that responsibility on them. But if someone would be like, hey girl, you're not even happy right now.
He was happy.
Yeah. And that makes it harder.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you have someone that loves you. But at the end of the day, love is not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough, because love is a choice. Are you going to...
Let me stop and interrupt right here. I hear, black women who call themselves Hebrew sisters, and I've heard pro-black women, black men, well, also. Now you see the problem. Why some black men go outside to other nations. Do you see the problem? And because, I hear this all the time. I've heard people use the Bible. I've heard people say, well, we shouldn't be getting with these other nations and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. The women are saying it themselves. So, in the case with the video, what AC was saying, Jada Smith so far, and the one young lady, Steve Curry. These are Steve Curry, who is an athlete, worth millions of dollars. Faithful husband. He ain't out messing with groupies. We never hear anything about it. The next thing he was going to talk about was after Jada Pinkett was Michelle Obama, who was the first lady in the White House. Her husband Barack Obama was considered the first black president. And she even said something that, she had a kind of a struggle with the relationship because she was so focused on her career. My mind's blown away. But when successful black men go to other women, everybody is making a big deal out of it. All over social media. So now these successful black men, these are the same kind of women. Say, see, when they get to the NBA, they get them a white woman. They get them a foreign woman. They go to say, now you see. Why would you? You can't make up your mind, so this you can't make up you don't appreciate what you have, and then when you get a man that has everything, that has his mind set up, oh, it's too I didn't think it was gonna be like this. So let me go back to my 304 moment. You can't make this up. Oh my goodness. What's about? Look at this.
It's not enough. It's not enough because that was a choice. Are you gonna?
So you?
Yo, like I said, this is discouraging to see this conversation that's going on. Love isn't enough. She wants more. More of what? He has provided a stable life for you, and you just didn't like it. This is what I tell you, brothers. What you're looking for what we want, the traditional woman that will be there thick and thin. Basically, you have to find that outside the U.S. because this is what they find to be normalized. This is in the West what they think is how life should be. That it should be. They should deserve more. They should deserve everything. But they're not even putting in half of what they want. This doesn't make sense. So move on. Yeah, right here it says American black kings are fed up. Hey.
But the American black king is getting so fed up with American slavery at this point. See, in America, there is an abundance of black kings. There's essentially too many. So the snow bunnies in America are so entitled at this point. They think they can have all of this meat. It's carnage. Like, they're just going dinner after dinner, all the snow bunnies like, yeah, fuck it. It doesn't work like that. They actually want to be valued for who they are. I'll give you a stat, right? In England, 6% of the population are black. Now let's say half of those are black kings, half of them are black queens. That's a very small percentage. Like, you're a rarity here. And by the way, England is full of snowbirds, so come to England and give it a chance. They'll value you and they'll appreciate you. Also, Europe, places like Latvia, I could even say Russia at this point. Basically, there's even less black kings. So there, the chances increase massively. And they won't treat you like you're replaceable because you're not. You have to be valued by a snow bunny who actually appreciates you.
Yeah, first I'm going to say is rather stay away from those westernized countries. So I wouldn't go to the UK. That's just me. If I do, it's just for fun. Anything more than that, anything serious, I probably wouldn't do it because of the cultures and just how feminism has made its way through every westernized culture. So I would just stay away. I would basically go Eastern Europe. That's just me because they're less. They have less feminism that's going on. That's telling women that they're boss bitches, and that the fact that they could do everything on their own, that they don't need a man. So with that being said, I think it's better for men to go, if they're going to go to Europe, go to Eastern Europe, and don't really deal with Western Europe unless you can really find that one needle in a haystack that's out there.
You need 3 different kind of men: a treat, a trick, and a sponsor. If you want to be treated, find you an average man that works a 9 to 5 that can do what he can. Like basic gifts, like perfume. He can take you on your dinner dates. You ain't got to come out of pocket. But more than likely, he won't be able to afford luxury things. Treats don't require much from you. It could be somebody you really like, or you ain't gotta like them at all. You can have multiple treats. Now, if you want more of an extravagant lifestyle, you want to be spoiled, you need a trick. A trick will fly you out first class. A trick will buy you some Chanel bags. Now, a trick takes more work. You gotta look good. You gotta have good conversation skills. You gotta have the right right mentality. You gotta know how to speak. You gotta know how to talk to the trick. Tricks have big egos. Sometimes they can be a little aggressive, you know, because tricks got money. They more experienced. They are usually very busy men who would rather spend money than time. If you need real assistance, like you want your rent paid up for a whole year, or you need $20,000 for a business idea that you have, then you need a sponsor. Sponsors are usually older men or like men who just make a bunch of money. Sponsors, they just got that I don't give a fuck money. They want a fantasy woman. And most of the time they have multiple women. So if you're a jealous woman, you might not be able to deal with no sponsor. Don't let the fact that he has so much money intimidate you, okay? Because at the end of the day, he's just a man with a lot of money. I mean, eventually you want to find a man who is all three of those in one, right? You want a provider. But in the meantime, while you out here dating, just keep that in mind. Treats, tricks, sponsors.
Oh my God, man, these women keep. Oh boy.
Prime example is when you're at the store and you're minding your business as a black woman, as a black man with his non-black woman, and he's just staring you down. And a lot of women in general are pick-me's.
The black girl, he will not. That you independent queens are raising is purely disgusting.
Independent queens? Girl, what red pill shit is your pick-me ass watching?
I used to think black men who don't date black women hate their mama.
And just for you to say that, I really want to know what your son looks like so he can stay away from any one of my people.
That I have often wondered about is, why is it that black men who only strategically date non-black women, white women, etc., that they're always in black women's spaces with these non-black women, or they're always looking for black women. Prime example is when you're at the store and you're minding your business as a black woman, and there's a black man with his non-black woman, and he's just staring you down.
Are you sure about that?
And I realize that the reason why they do this, but not limited to this particular reason, is the same reason why white people are always worried about what black people are doing. And the reason why is because when you have privileges, whether it's male privilege, whether it's privilege because of your skin tone, it just seems like they don't feel that privilege or are able to conceptualize that privilege unless they're in proximity to somebody who they would consider lower on the spectrum than them. So in my opinion, I don't believe that for a lot of black men being with non-black women.
Funny you think that. I have to say this. You ladies have had your foot on men's necks, black men's necks, for so many years, and it's sad because you don't realize it. I'll tell you what's going on. This has been a grand awakening. Over, I'd say, about the past 10 years, you ladies have been hearing about yourself. You're hearing about yourself from all over, from black people who are even of the same community. They're letting you have it. And what's happening is, I don't know what you're talking about as far as what you thought in your head happened when when you saw a black man with a white girl. I don't know what you felt happened. Well, maybe that man needs to work on himself. But I'll say this, the pressure's on now, right? What have men been saying for the longest? You know what's been happening now? Men go and get their hair cut. Talking to men in the shop. They're talking about their problems. Guess what their problems are?
Hey there, I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm at one of Fredfield's facility.
The shop. They're talking about their problems. Guess what their problems are?
Women.
He can't help that, it's you. But I want to hear what else you got to say. Woman or a white woman has garnered them the attention in whatever environment, so they felt like they would get it from.
And they feel like the only place that they can get that attention is obviously if they're in proximity to black women.
Delusional.
So I want to be clear on this next point. Just to be clear, I am not saying that a white tea woman, if she has biracial children, or if a non-black woman who has children with a black man, I'm not saying that they can't move on and get another man of their own racial group. I'm not saying that. But what I do acknowledge is that from what I understand is that there is a stigma for these women, especially white women, when they deal with black men or if they have slept with a lot of black men, where I guess that does affect their dating life in the future if they have messed with a lot of black dudes or slept with a lot of black dudes. And at the end of the day, that just speaks to the fact that with your blackness as a black man, it doesn't garner these women any sort of, I guess, badge of honor or any sort of higher rank in their communities for being with a black person, because at the end of the day, a lot of these other communities are very discriminatory and racist towards us black people. So getting with a black person for a lot of these communities is seen as a stain. And if I could be even more transparent about this, is the fact that obviously some of these non-black women that black men get with, if these girls were to go into their own environments with their own people, they would just be another regular girl. But when these women are put in environments with black women, and because of all the colorism in the community, they technically, because of the colorism, because of the internalized racism of our community, would be higher on the spectrum, if that makes sense. And a lot of women in general are pick-me's, so they feel they're getting a one-up on an entire group of women by taking their men. They're getting male attention and male validation, and black men have historically propped up other races and groups of women, particularly white women. So obviously, black men are not going to leave black women alone because, one, in order for them to exercise any sort of perceived power, it has to be an environment within the black community where there is a vast majority of black women. Because what I have noticed is, even if a black man...
No. Let me correct you. Has nothing to do with perceived power. Do you know what happens to ladies who are outside of the community, who dates black men? I know a lady, she was in a store with her husband. They were snickering at her. I'm not saying that you do that, but why do some still do that? Do you know how many years, how long that's been happening to men? You can't act like only one thing is happening. You're always the victims, even when I'm not. So what's happening is now the magnifying glass is on you. Who has it been on for so many years? Even by you. Do you know what's happened from other cultures? Other cultures saw us as the bottom of the barrel. Who painted the image? A lot of times it was from you ladies, also movies, different things out there. It painted us in such a horrible light. All we did was turn the magnifying glass around because it needed to. It's not, we turn the magnifying glass around out of hate. It's out of love. Have you ever heard of tough love? That's what this is. And that's what you need. Let me tell you like this, right? If a man gives another man tough love, what happens after that? Like when I give my son tough love, he's going to get tougher. He's going to grow thicker skin. You should be able to handle it. It's not out of hate, but some changes need to be made. And what's going on, especially when I play the next video, you guys are going to see. The issue is not that what people said. It's that they hear it and they don't want to change. Real talk.
And is with a non-black woman. Black women are so desperate for a black man to speak up for them or do anything or give them any sort of validation that they do not do their due diligence on who they prop up as a black man. They don't check to see if he's married to a black woman. They don't check to see if he's taking care of his black kids. If he has any kids, they don't check to see his resume or his career history or anything. It just seems like black women, if a black man says things that we like, we just prop them up. and we don't have any other expectations out of them. And I have seen black men, who are with non-black women. Because of black women, they've been propped up, they've been praised, they've been pedestalized, and they have been able to gain traction in spaces with predominantly black women. So with that being said, of course black men are not going to leave black women alone, because at the end of the day, the black community is the only place where they can get free labor. Black women are the only people that give them free labor. Black women are the only ones that prop them up for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We don't even do background checks to make sure that they take care of their kids, or if they have a black wife, or if they're about anything that they're talking about. And then on top of that, black men know black women like the back of their hand. They know how to pull on our emotional heartstrings, and they know that if they want to gain any sort of monetary traction or make money off of anybody, it's best to do it with black women, and use words like, I forget what the phrase is called, but saying, oh, black own this and black that and black empowerment that, while at the same time they are sleeping with white women, they're sleeping with non-black women, and they're funneling their money to feed their lustful habits.
So wait a minute.
All while not contributing back and benefiting black women. And I've seen this with Isaac Hayes, I've seen this with Umar Johnson. Like, I get a lot of y'all like what they might be doing, I get that y'all might like what they say, but any black man who preaches black empowerment, and he is in this system where marriage is extremely important, if he's not married to a black woman, if he's not taking care of his black kids, you can't really take them seriously. And it just really speaks to, if that's the low expectations that you have as a black woman for a black man, then I could definitely see why a lot of us black women end up in the situations that we end up with black men.
There are some things that just go.
Now, I just showed you in this video. Now, Steve Curry, the basketball player, Junior, take care of his children. He's a ball player. Will Smith take care of his children, and he's successful. And the other ones. This is some of these women don't want to take accountability. They don't appreciate the type of men. They say they get up on these podcasts and they say all these things, but when the men is presented to them, and God has pretty much answered their prayers, everything they want to win 4 or 5. As soon as they get the man, they're not happy. They get the ultimate black man that's already in his space. He's already got a career, everything, and he's just willing to, all to get just to be a faithful companion. But she don't want to be a faithful companion. She complains about everything, and just I'm glad. It would be nice for these women to be just like, I'm just happy I've just got a good man, and there's women that appreciate their husband. But this is what turned some men in the West off. It's like, we hear you say these things, but yet your actions, when you get to the top, and he gets to the top, all of a sudden he fades out and wants to go to a different country, a different type of women. But when you hear all these podcasts that say stupid stuff like this, you see why. They want to go back to a man or go to a man that have less than the men that they have. All for attention. Just for some attention. Can you believe that? And this is the reason why. And the same type of women, be like, along with some white male counterparts, be crying about, moaning, bitching about why they going after black athlete men. But when they get the black athlete men, they ain't happy. Look what happened with Travis. I mean, they would have dated him anyway. Some of these, what I'm saying, they just want to use it for their money. And I think some of these athletes, wealthy athletes, I think they catch on to how these women, all of a sudden, these 3 or 4 is trying to pass themselves off as a wife. And like they said, and then they probably warn in the NFL and NBA, don't get with these women. have this 304 mentality, because you're going to end up be paying more than what it costs is. You know, Alonzo Ball tried to tell his sons about some women like this, because this is what they do. Until you find a woman that's productive and it meets the equivalent of your ideal where you want to go, and she kind of help, I like what the one guy said, that she's supposed to help build you up, help me help you in different areas, not just to be not attractiveness is nice, but still maintain to be, don't mind doing things that a woman who is a girlfriend or wife would want to do. If you really love and you care about somebody, why has to be a stipulation? Why has to be a debate and argument? Why has to be put to it in a certain category? Do you want to be in a relationship? I would ask some of these women, what's the sense? Why don't you just, to the Michelle Obamas and Stephen Curry's wife, why did you pick these dudes? Why did you say, you know what, hey, you're not my flavor? But yet later on down in life, you start regretting when you get to a certain age. And like he said, like what the one guy said, when your eggs, now it's, oh, maybe I should have had some children. And what, God meant for you to be. But it's sad that, and it's like, AC said, it's passed down from generation after generation. This is the reason why. So this answers the same question, why some black men go to other women later on in their life, even once they've been married to a black woman. Some of them, and I'm not excusing it. If a guy's a cheater, he's a cheater. You're wrong. But look at what they do. They you achieve everything and you're so independent. And maybe he's really to find a woman that wants to be an actual companion. But you don't want to be an actual companion. You want your girlfriends to be the actual companion. You want your so-called, I want this, and that's why you end up with your pet, your sister girlfriends, and that's it. Because it's like, hey, that's the way you want it. I mean, you see the video for itself. I mean, you see how the way the one woman mentioned a trick, this and another. Now you see why men are getting leery. If the men who have all that, what does that tell the men who have it? Like, damn, this woman don't have. So I build up everything. I have everything. You don't give a crap of all you trying to do is use me as you. And I said this one time. They want the nice guy, but they want the bad boy. They want this. Because I think the bad boy, he give me something to really emotionally give my will and everything to him. They got it backwards here. I mean, it's so much to deal with emotion of women who are like this. What man wants to deal with that? And if I was at a stream status as near a 7-6-8 figure man, I would want to deal with some of these women. I could do the same thing. I'd be overseas too, and might be single until I find out what type of woman, and I had to do the same thing over there. Is ready to be a wife, who will love me and care for me, so I can give and leave my things to. I don't want somebody that don't give a shit, and all of a sudden, she just, something medical happened to you, she throw you to the wolves. She don't care nothing about you, man. You don't want somebody who don't care about you. These women, I keep telling you, some want to cope, and I know in our instinct that we think that women have all women don't have the natural, loving, caring, feminine, submissive. No, they don't. This proves it right here. So even after the men provide everything that they do, they go and get to a certain point. I think I'm going to find something younger. I think I'm going to find something a little bit more on the edge. Then when that man is on the edge, take it to a different extreme, got them scared and got them to the point that they're overbearing and leaves them for another woman. Now they hurt and they bitter. Now they want to take it on all men. Make it make sense. Anyway, guys, this is a shout out to all the content creators. This is the reason why some women, and I hate to say it, some You know, I know white women, and there's white women like this. There are certain Hispanic women like this, other women. But why is it that black women got to be the main ones pushing this stuff? It is like, and I guess it's that they show their true nature and see successful black women. Jada Pinkett and Isha Curry, Michelle Obama, and that probably other lady are successful. They got the men. They have the men. They got the black man. So all these people up there saying, oh, you know, before I go, oh, think about it. What good is it for all other working everyday men, average men, if black men who have it? What does that send a message to? But yet there are some black men that still stay faithful, still love their black women, and this is how some of these black women treat them. Make it make sense. All right then, take care. See y'all next video.